I now call this meeting of the Amateur Detective Club to order. I'm Tyler Riley, cop and a half.
I'm Melissa Meli, the spy.
And I'm Tristan Miller, the sausage sleuth.
Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/ADCpod and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/ADCpod.
What I'm going to recommend today is a book that y'all should start listening to, because we're going to start listening to it soon for a future episode, called The Woman in White, narrated by Ian Holm. It's 24 hours long, so you, as I mentioned last episode, I would get Audible use the credit for something that was a certain length. I'm absolutely getting my money's worth with this one, so check that out if you want.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be covering it soon-ish.
What is it called when you do the WH, like the IPA, you really, get in there on the sound?
Like the whip, like cool whip.
Yes,
yeah.
the cool whip.
Mm-hmm.
No idea. I just call it being a jackass.
Well, because
Well,
Well, I do declare.
especially when there's not a WH in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A donut hole within a donut hole.
Oh, goodness.
that gets me done at swole.
Yes.
All right.
I do think I'm just going to listen, just pick a day, drink a lot of coffee, and just listen 24 hours straight.
Oh,
Through the
we
entire
should do a
thing.
marathon.
Yeah.
We should live stream it.
Nothing
a marathon.
can go wrong there.
Nothing at all.
Oh, perfect. I welcome this Truman Show, look into my life.
I would like to say, Ian Holm did recently pass away. Rest in peace, my guy.
Yes, that's right.
He, fun fact, did a BBC radio production of The Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Where he plays Frodo. And that's my Lord of the Rings, because I listened to that too much as a kid.
Yes.
Check it out. It's available on the YouTubes, as is #1 Ladies Detective Agency. All of the episodes are just there. In glorious 360p.
Ooh. The best
Yeah.
way to watch.
Mm-hmm.
If you, really hate gorgeous cinematography, go check
Yeah.
them out.
Yeah. There's an episode of #1 Ladies Detective Agency that we all watched. It's episode, 4?
5?
5?
Do you mean the one that we're going to talk about today?
Yeah, 5. Yeah, episode.
Yeah.
Problems with moral philosophy.
Which is, we all have problems with moral philosophy.
I don't have any. I think all philosophers are right all of the time. Every single one of them, even the ones that contradict each other, I think are correct.
Well, what a stance. What a bold stance on
What a
philosophy.
hot take.
Oh, good.
All right.
Real quick, because I think by the time this episode is released, it'll still be available. Anthony Minghella, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name, who adapted the #1 Ladies Detective Agency for television and is one of the main producers and directed the first episode, the TV movie pilot. His production of Madame Butterfly at the Metropolitan Opera is available to stream online via the Metropolitan Opera's website.
Oh, neat.
Yes, we begin this episode. It's nighttime. And
Oh,
we're
yes.
on the road.
Oh, boy.
So sensual.
And we see these two gentlemen, at least, on the side of the road, looking under the hood of their car. Seems like they're broken down. And we see this beautiful Mercedes-Benz drive up. And the wife looks to the husband in the car and is like, what's going on? Stay in the car, because I think he tries to go out to help them. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, like, they pull to a stop to assess the situation. And as they do that, a whole gaggle of men appear out of nowhere and carjack this couple in this Mercedes. They start driving away. The couple gets up, starts running after them, shouting, "Please stop. You have our child. Our baby is in the backseat. Please stop."
The scariest thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
then
the
credits.
cold open. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And then after the credits, I believe we see BK jamming out in his VW Bug convertible.
Oh yeah. It's such a cute car. I love it so much.
Yeah. It's so nice.
And he rolls up and there's a shop with sirens. A blaring. Their alarms.
Oh, right.
Their security system is going off. And then we meet this man, the shop.
Patel.
And he's distressed that his alarm is going off, understandably. BK goes up to him and tries to help, or just, inquisitive, wants to know what's going on. And Mr. Patel goes to open the door, and he makes BK turn away as he puts in the security code, and BK is insulted.
Yeah.
Very. And they get into the shop, and by this time Mama Cootsie has come into the scene as well. She wants to see what's going on. And they're in the shop, and it's become clear that someone has broken the window and came in and stole, like, his security camera, I guess. And he's very angry, and he yells at BK and Mama Cootsie, tells BK that his business is attracting the wrong kinds of people. Mm-hmm. People who don't want to work for a living and have all day to sit around and chat as they're getting their hair cut. Which is gross.
BK runs, like, a beauty parlor.
Yeah. Yeah.
A high breeding ground for criminals.
Well, I love getting my hair did and then, committing embezzlement.
Yes, as we all do.
Yeah.
And
I do my best racketeering in the barber share.
We all know we launder money through
the the barber shop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And
we barber money? Is that anything? And when you commit a crime in a beauty salon, it is absolutely barbarous. Oh.
Yeah. While I'm getting my hair cut, I do lots of jaywalking.
That's a very funny concept. You hit the best one.
But, so Patel clearly needs someone to blame. So he's yelling at BK and then moves on to, who leaves. And Mama Cootsie is standing there and says, and the detective agency. It might as well be called the Riffraff Agency or whatever, the number one.
Primola.
Yeah, something like that. And she comes back with, the guy, remember, from the previous episode, who has been doing all these little break-ins in town, we're real close to catching them. And he says, oh yeah, is that right? And then Maramotsue appears, as if from nowhere.
Yeah, it's like a van, like, moves, and, like, there she is.
Yeah. And Patel turns to her and says, is that correct? Are you really, Mama Cootsie says you're close to catching these burglars, and
the sticky bandits.
Yeah. And she says, yeah, we are.
Yeah, like
very
Daffy
close.
Duck having
and
just
imminent
drunk
is
something.
a breakthrough is imminent.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do get that again later in the episode.
Oh my goodness, do we ever?
A lot of uncomfortable noises in this episode.
Stay tuned for Tristan to grunt some more.
Good luck transcribing this.
Mm-hmm. I always
you can
think
just
of
put
it.
like muffled groaning.
Oh, I'll
And you call
make
me
it work.
sexual on this podcast.
All right.
But Maru Matsue, kind of gives Mama Kutsi the business after Mr. Patel drives off. She's like, you overpromising is not what I expect from an assistant detective.
Yes.
And it's just like, oh yeah, this is your first day as an assistant detective, and you have not started off very well.
Not at all.
Meanwhile, BK overhears this and says, "Oh, assistant detective, huh? This calls for a new hairstyle." And she says, "What a waste of money. I do not want to do that." And he says, "I will do it for free." And she says,
Very sweet.
"Okay, but you stop when I tell you to." And he immediately goes for her hair and she swats him away. But she does go into the salon, and in the meantime, we see Mamoru Motsue go into the agency, and a woman comes in and says, "My husband has a stolen car." And she says, "Your husband stole a car?" And the woman says, "No, my husband has a stolen car. I know this because someone had said they had two Mercedes-Benzes, is that the plural?
Benzai.
Oh, yes, right, Benzai, thank you. And he only needed one, which sounded really off. So my
You've
husband
never
got
had
it
that
really
problem?
cheap. I just have too many Benzai.
What should I do with all these Mercedes-Benz? I think it's like Inspectors General. Like Mercedes.
But Mercedes already sounds plural.
I think it
Mercedes
always is.
Oh.
Yeah. There's always several Mercedes. It's never not too many.
It's a real thinker.
Sorry, just the idea of like a Don Knotts style like movie of like, what do I do with all these Mercedes Benz? Oh no.
What a missed opportunity of a film that would have been.
Yeah. He's in like a suit.
I really like Don Knotts.
Yeah. Like an incredible Mr. Is it Plinkett?
Incredible Mr. Limpet.
Limpet. Mr. Plinkett's a different character. Don't get Limpet. Like he turns into the Mercedes Benz, and then it turns into like a Carrie style horror film.
Oh, I think we're gonna go Knight Rider on it, which I was totally on board for.
That would be
Don
fun,
Knotts
too.
doing the voice of Kit. Absolutely. And if he were still alive, like, I would love, like, a crossover where he becomes the voice of Maru Matsue's band.
Oh, you love to see
And Jill
it.
Scott has to talk to Don Knotts, like, for an entire episode. Like, I'm on board.
So here's the thing, Tyler. You have just made a requirement of me making one of my infamous videos now. You've just given me work to do.
I love that Tristan has started making these videos of his own accord and has now dubbed them infamous.
Listen, I know what I'm about.
But yes, too many cars for this one man. So he had to give it away real cheap.
Right.
Because like the price was far too low, and that is what tipped the wife off.
Yes.
It was
And
a very nice car.
exactly. And Mamoru Motsue understands what she's about. Yeah, they're on the same wavelength. She's getting it. And Mamoru Motsue says, "Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Now hear me out. We're gonna steal the car back. I know it sounds weird, but..." And this woman realizes, "Oh, well, okay, but so if we steal the car back, then God will know that the car is back in the right place and all will be well. basically with my conscience.
Well, I'm down with that logic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes as much sense as anything.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps even more. So, that's part of the plan. We know what we're going to do. We're going to steal the car back, return it to its rightful owners. Perfect. So, in the meantime, Mama Kutsu's hair has been done, and she walks into this meeting with this new client and has two very, very big, very high buns that are a very bright pinkish red.
Too cute to function.
It is a look, and she gets a look from both Maru Motsue and this client. Sorry, hang on just 1 second. I have to make sure that the dog is not destroying my apartment. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries.
Good news, it is one of the rare occasions, well, more frequent occasions, where the dog is being completely silent and not destroying anything.
Ooh.
Yeah. He's been a little mischievous the last couple days, so I had to double check.
Quarantine getting him down, finally.
Oh. He just misses Rich.
Yeah. I think we all do. We
It
all
happens.
miss Rich.
Mm-hmm. Except when he's here.
Then we
What do I-
want to miss Rich.
What does she mean by that? No.
Sponsor of the show. Thank you for subscribing to our Patreon. Giving us that sweet $10.
What?
Yes.
What happens next? Because they get the other case, right?
So, is that the point where Maru Motsue goes to the JLB's shop? And he's been chatting with Mr. Patel?
Well, no.
Not yet? Okay.
Well, we do go to JLB's shop, but it's Mr. Patel and JLB at the shop.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And Mr. Patel wants this new sat nav system put into his car because he is all about the latest technology because it's very impressive, and he is a very impressive man. And he asked JLB about Maru Motsue because he essentially has offered to pay the detective agency if they can find out who is responsible for all these break-ins in Kale Hill.
Yeah, essentially.
And as he and JLB are talking, Mr. Patel very easily finds out that JLB has more than a professional relationship with Maru Motsue. Like, they're friends at the very least. And he knows that JLB is feeling a little bit more than he lets on.
He's caught feelings, as the Ute say, I believe.
They do. They have said that.
I like that. I like that expression.
He has caught some feelings for Maru Motsue.
Yeah, and he admits
don't drop it.
Oh, no, he can't drop it. He wishes he could, but he can't drop it. So he admits it because clearly Mr. Patel sees right through him, and he says, "Listen, she turned me down." And Mr. Patel, who is obviously, the best person to ask for romantic advice,
100%, having all of his marriages in his life arranged, presumably.
He says that he knows how, he mustn't give up. JLB mustn't give up, that he just needs to change a few things about himself and be more, be a worse person, and then she'll fall for JLB.
Be aggressive. Be aggressive.
Yeah. Basically, he's trying to get him to show her, that he's a man and he can provide and like he can take charge and all the gross stuff.
Well, I mean, admittedly, that like is fine if the woman is interested in that kind of person.
Yeah.
The tactics are also.
Yeah, the way, like, I'm not like excused. Like, he's clearly like he throughout the episode proves time and again that he is not like a modern man.
Yeah, it's not great. It's very much like the act tough and mean and the woman will be yours kind of attitude, and it's like, no, that doesn't actually.
That's the only thing that's worked for me.
You love a Gaston. You love a Gaston.
Oh, Tyler. So yeah, he also tells him to get a white coat instead of his blue coat.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Which like is...
He has to look pristine.
I guess that's it. It's very...
I mean, is he trying to trick people into thinking he's like a car doctor? Like, what?
Exactly, it does. It looks like a car doctor coat.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Like, it's car doctor. So dirty.
I
know.
You
have to be real careful.
I know.
There's a reason you don't wear, like, white clothing when you are dealing with nasty stuff. Like,
yeah.
You just don't.
And his, like, denim blue jacket looks so much better than the white coat he does eventually procure, but whatever.
Like, you try committing a murder in all white. You know what I mean?
It's very hard. So hard to get the blood out. My goodness.
But I think this is the point where Maru Motsui rolls up to the garage owned by JLB because she wants to ask him about stolen cars.
Yes.
Before she gets into that business, though, Mr. Patel excuses himself and tries to be JLB's hype man, and Maru Motsui is just like, okay.
Yeah. And he also says to her, Mr. Patel says to Maru Motsui, I will see you at my apartment at 7:15 tonight. And she's like...
Yeah, she's
right.
very taken aback about it.
She's honestly nicer than I would have been. Like, I can't, because you told me to, so ask maybe, and maybe I'll come. But, not my favorite tactic. But, yeah, I think she's so taken aback that she just says okay. And she then, she sees JLB, who's, like, kind of trying to rehearse, or he's, like, hyping himself up.
Mm-hmm.
If at first you don't succeed, if at first you don't succeed, if at first you don't succeed. And she approaches, and he's still in his own little world, and he says, oh, okay, hi.
You get some more sputtering.
Yeah, more sputtering. So much sputtering. And she asks if he's talking to the car. And he says, yep, that's what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So she asks him about stolen cars and if there's a way to tell if a car, if there's a way, where do stolen cars come from?
And
well, when
apparently
mechanics love each other very much.
Yeah.
They come from South Africa. They're stolen across the border and brought back into Botswana.
Makes sense. And then she says, is there a way to tell, which car is which? And apparently there are serial numbers on cars somewhere, and JLB does indeed know how to find them. He knows where those are located. And one of those places we find out pretty soon is the undercarriage of a car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs a special device in order to be able to read the serial numbers.
Yeah.
So
the
then
payoff
for
that is so good.
Then we get the next case.
Yeah,
before night falls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is that a local butcher suspects his wife of having an affair, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so he sets it up, and he says that his wife has been, dressed fashionably. She's wonderful. She's very captivating. Their son is super smart, and for some reason, even though he's having financial difficulty, this little boy's tuition to this very good school is all paid for, no problems.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, so you might wonder why, because it sounds like I've got it so great, I am coming to you. Well, it's because I think my wife is cheating on me, and I can't shake this feeling, and I just have to, get it confirmed or denied.
All right, Tristan, take it away.
No.
I can't shake this.
Oh, I was gonna say, I thought that, and then I was like, I don't want to interrupt Melissa's flow. But yeah, ooga chaka, ooga chaka.
Mm-hmm.
Ooga, ooga, ooga chaka.
Yeah.
Check out Tristan's stand-up.
Yeah, I was like, Tyler is, of course, referring to a infamous bit that I do on stage.
The infamous Tristan Miller.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, confirmed.
Mm-hmm. So,
would you rather be famous or infamous?
Famous.
Tyler?
I'm thinking.
I think I would almost rather be infamous, just because then I feel like the how you say the recognition lives longer than you do more often, because like there are plenty of famous people in our time that we just don't think about, but like Jack the Ripper, it's been hundreds of years,
Yeah.
Pontius Pilate, thousands of years.
Yeah. And then you have Jesus.
2020 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was Jesus famous or infamous? I think infamous. He was a rebel. A lot of people don't remember that.
That's true. Yes. A rebel with a cause, Jesus, as he is commonly known.
I'm gonna have to edit now. I'm gonna have to make another image of Jesus Christ superstar superimposed onto James Dean.
Good.
If there's
Good.
a Christian rock band called Rebel with a Cause, referring to Jesus, I wonder if that's a thing.
If it's not, should we start a Christian rock band just for those purposes?
I'm down.
Absolutely, yeah. I can lay down guitar and keys and drums and vocals, so wherever you need me.
Good.
I can write about Jesus.
I play the viola a little. That seems useful.
I mean, in this specific instance, yes.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I can sing backup.
Excellent.
Give
I also
you a
sing a
tambourine.
little.
Yeah, you just sing a little bit. Un poquito.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah.
But I would say famous to answer your question, because I feel like I could then just use that platform to get things done with more immediacy than infamousy.
Yes.
Okay, I think I understand what you're saying. Yeah. And then Maru Motsue tells Mamakutsi that this is going to be her first solo case.
Yeah.
And we get some more sputtering.
Because it's so low on her list of priorities.
It truly is. And there's this running thing throughout where, and I love Maru Motsue. I love her to death. But there's this running thing where she's asking Mamakutsi to be a secretary and an assistant detective. Yeah. And I'm like, if you can't afford two positions, don't make one person do two people's jobs. That's not moral. And maybe that's what they're talking about regarding the title.
Other duties as assigned. Okay? And When I got bumped up and promoted within my organization, I still had to do the responsibilities that I had previously. I just got more responsibilities.
And more money?
At the time, no. Later, I did.
Okay. I mean, yeah. So, I like to think she's paying her a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying. I really don't think. I think what happened was Mara Motsue did not think this through at all.
100%.
when she made Mamakutsi her assistant detective.
Yeah.
And so basically Mamakutsu's been walking around buried in the handbook, and
oh, right.
You know, she's not typing, and Mara Motsue comes over and is like, I really do need you to also type and
make tea.
Make tea.
Yeah.
Can we continue to do that? And Mamakutsi says, I will do the typing and make tea. Yes.
I have a point.
Okay.
Pardon me. In the last episode, when she receives the promotion, she says, without a pay increase, because she feels bad. Mamakutsi does.
Right.
So she is doing 2 people's jobs. That being said, it's like, and I was like upset initially, and then I remembered the idea of like an apprentice, which is kind of the thing she's doing. She's like training to be a detective, not like, it's not like she's all of a sudden managing and then also like managing a different department, as often happens in corporate America.
She's kind of getting an education along with it, which you would have to pay for in a lot of circumstances. It's a complicated thing. We don't have time to get into the ethics of internships.
Mara Motsue just clearly doesn't care. She's just like, okay, cool, dude. I'm gonna go think about this stolen car.
Yeah, she's very preoccupied.
Mm-hmm.
And do we get the first scene with JLB and Mara Motsue next? Is that
yes.
Great. So they go out to the woman with the stolen car. They go out to their house late at night, and Mara Motsue and JLB. And JLB gets underneath the car to check for the serial number, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And says... and accidentally, he has his device, which is a tape recorder.
Yeah.
That he's bringing with him. It's nothing. He's doing nothing. But he accidentally plays music, and their dog, the couple's dog, starts barking very loudly and incessantly. So
as well
he has
it should.
to. Yeah, it makes sense.
It's a guard dog.
Yeah. So he gets the information and gets out of there as quickly as he can.
Yeah. The serial number is just engraved on the bottom of the car. So he like completely fabricated this device to try and impress Mara Motsue.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a very funny sequence, and Mara Motsue is like ducking down in the seat, and it's very silly. And it also introduces the fact that the husband who bought the stolen car doesn't really like their dog, and also doesn't like the neighbor kids who he sees biking around, and blames the barking on that as
which is aside from the dog thing, everything else I understand.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, he just doesn't seem to like anything except for his car.
That's fair. He seems like a very curmudgeonly man.
So he runs back to the car, and they get out of there before they get caught. And Mara Motsue's car has been not doing great, and JLB, in his as part of his attempt to be very take charge, says, something like, we gotta get rid of this old car and trade it in. Mara Motsue clearly is recognizing that he's acting weird, but she doesn't say anything. She just kind of, she's making faces a little bit at him, like, what you doing? What you doing, friend?
Yeah.
So, So then they get back to the agents. They get back to town, and Maru Matsue makes for the Mr. Patel's house, right? Maru Matsue goes to Mr. Patel's house, and it's very fancy. There's like a security gate. He's expecting her, blah blah blah, and he shows her pictures of all of his family, his twin daughters who are now married, his son who's a doctor or whatever, and he says that his 16-year-old daughter, he thinks she has a boyfriend, and Maru Matsue basically is like, okay, so why do we care? And he asks her if she has children, and she says no.
Yeah, which is,
Ugh.
not a great situation for her.
No, he basically says, no children, no opinion. And it gets her to agree to, to see if she has a boyfriend, if his daughter has a boyfriend.
Yeah, super sad scene, because you can just see in her face that, like, she just wants to just get out of there.
Yeah. Really solid acting from Jill Scott in this scene, because also, like, when he brings up, he's like, do you have any kids? You can see her, like, dealing with the fact that she had a kid, but then, no longer does.
Yeah.
There's a lot, like, going on in this scene. It's really well done.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's very callous, and, it's just the dynamic that we get is, understated from Jill Scott, but it's very clear. It's nice. Good acting all around. And yes.
We do, in the episode, get to see JLB and his employees
Yes.
at the garage. And they convince him to let them take JLB to the Handsome Go-Go Men's Bar.
Yes.
It's so...
Or, sorry, the Go-Go Handsome Men's Bar is how it's...
Right.
So fun, and such a fun sequence.
It's so great. And basically, their sell to him is, we'll make Maru Matsue jealous because the cook from next door will absolutely tell her if she sees you dancing with some ladies at the club. And JLB very earnestly says, but why would I want to make her jealous? It's so sweet and pure.
Yeah, absolutely. And during the sequence, he's, like, visibly anxious and uncomfortable with the whole thing. And this woman is like, I know you're the strong and silent type. And, like, goes off and, like, projects a lot of personality on to him. And admittedly is the personality that Mr. Patel suggests that he try out. So apparently some women respond to it, just not Maru Matsue. And he's just like, he's just so visibly uncomfortable.
And this actress is so fun.
She's so fun.
I loved her so much.
She's so good. And we'll never see her again. But she's so fun. And
she's very flirty, very open, just wants to have a good time.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Which you love to see.
Yes.
No games.
What a good name, JLB. I love initials. They're so mysterious. Promise me you will never tell me what they stand for.
And
he says, okay.
It's so good.
She's like, oh, more initials. Just like, I love it.
Oh.
It's so good. Oh, can I tell you a fun fact about the word okay?
Mm-hmm.
And where it comes from? It's not an abbreviation, really. But, like, what had happened was this. In, I think, the beginnings of the movable type, and to save money, people started using abbreviations. But also, the upper classes, and I believe Maine and the coast, there's a group of young people that started, like, spelling words incorrectly for fun. And OK stands for all, O LL correct with a K.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. Like young people have always been jerks is the moral of this story.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's real fun.
But I
All
would like to
correct.
say that OK can be an abbreviation.
For
Like Oklahoma.
Yes.
OK Corral, yeah.
LAHOMA.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's the origin of OK.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And now we move on to Mama Cootsie.
Yes!
Ugh.
With BK doing a stakeout. It's
Yes.
so good. Ugh. My
Oh my
heart.
gosh.
I literally, and I want to express this, I literally went when this happened. And my girlfriend was like, you have to chill. And I'm like, you don't understand. My two favorite characters are like going on a stakeout together. You need to understand.
It's so cute.
With coffee and
so-
donuts, the
I
official
know.
stakeout food. And then
Yes.
quickly corrects, like, well, actually, bush tea and, like, some type of pastry, he says.
Yeah.
I couldn't quite
Oh.
catch it.
Oh, that's fun.
So good.
So her uncle comes up in like
The
some
presidential
sort of...
motorcade, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very conspicuous car, and he has on like a driver's hat.
I know, he's so sweet.
It's so sweet, and she yells at him about it. She's like, "We're going on a stakeout. You expect me to get in this car to go on a stakeout?" And he rightly gives up and drives off.
He just
And then she
zoops
gets
off.
upset. She's like, "Wait a second. No, wait, I do actually need you." So instead, BK takes her.
Yeah, there's this really great moment where he is overhearing all of this because it's happening right in front of his shop, and Mama Kutsi is just like, "Oh, I'm going on my first case. BK, isn't it exciting?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And then he's like overhearing all of this, and he's looking at his diary for the day, and he's just like, "Well, I don't really have anything, so I got a plan." And it's so fun, and I hope this happens again because this is all I care about now. This is the show I want. I love Maru Motsue, but she can be a background character. I no longer care.
It's very good. So the entire time, BK is taking intricate notes about what is happening, and it is really annoying. And
So funny.
Mamakutsi is visibly annoyed.
Yeah.
Says she's annoyed. BK even asks her, "Am I annoying you?"
BK
with
has big
mischief.
little brother energy. I love it.
Yeah. And she says, "Yes, you're annoying me." And he says, "Great. That's exactly what I'm going for. I'm that character in this detective novel," basically. So,
Ugh.
yeah. So first they see the son going to school,
Mm-hmm.
and he is the most adorable child. I love a kid with glasses. Little boy with glasses makes me reconsider my stance on having children. Seriously. My maternal instinct kicks in so hard when I see a little boy with glasses. And then it goes away again. But yeah, it makes my heart melt.
You heard it, folks. Melissa Meli said, "Fuck them kids."
No, I love them. I just don't want one.
Yeah.
Sorry, are we on the Patreon right now, sir? Watch your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, I'll either cut it out or I'll bleep it, Tyler.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I'm just gonna be everyone's aunt. It's gonna be fun.
As a crazy uncle, I'm with you.
Mm-hmm. It'll be great.
Yeah, y'all can help raise my kids. It's fine.
Perfect.
Fantastic. I have a really good name for a little girl.
Is it
It's a
Melissa?
shame. No.
Yeah, I have like several children's names picked out for my tribe of children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have one and I'm never going to use it. So if anybody needs a really great little girl's name, I just ask that I be the child's aunt. That's all.
What is the name?
I'm not sure if she wants to give it out for free.
No.
Okay, Venmo Melissa $20, and you can get access to a name.
Mm-hmm.
That apparently
really
isn't
good.
Melissa. Is it Tristan?
No.
Dang. Is it...
If you say Tyler, so help me God.
This is going to be the most engaging audio for our listeners. You just guessing names.
Is it Athena?
No.
Is it Barbara?
No.
Is it Kathy? Is it Deborah?
So...
Is it Grace, as in Grace Makutsi, who is on the stakeout with
Amazing.
BK? The child has gone to school. The husband, who is a butcher, is leaving, and so is the wife. He opens the gate to let her take the car, and then he walks to work, I think, because I think he works nearby the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Grace and BK are off. Follow that car. So they do that. We see a little bit of them, taking, turns and like, oh no, we got stopped at a red light, kind of hijinks and whatnot. And then we cut to Maru Motsui and a police officer friend of hers, who I believe who works in South Africa, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
And she is trying to negotiate the return of this car because she has promised that there will not be an arrest of this woman's husband.
Mm-hmm.
They just want the car returned and for everything to just kind of be erased, a clean slate. And this is where she gets more details about the family who was carjacked and whose car was stolen. And the police detective relays the entirety of the story, including the fact that, the child was in the backseat and the child was dumped on the side of the road. To Maru Motsui quickly asking, alive? To which the detective says, yes, alive. Easing Maru Motsui and every viewer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, because we had not gotten that resolution either.
Yeah.
So, and Jill Scott is beautiful in this scene, and she is very concerned about the child very clearly, and then you see her, she breathes a literal sigh of relief when it is noted that the child was alive. So...
And then this police officer, Billy, I believe his name is, he says something pretty whack, which I really enjoyed as he's leaving. He's like, I always knew you would be someone, but you did not think the same thing of me. And she's like, well, I do now. And then that's good enough for him. But it was this really weird exchange. But I like this actor coming in. He was very good. He's very clearly agitated and drinking from a cup that had nothing in it. That is one of my biggest pet peeves.
Right, because what does it cost to put some water in a cup?
Yeah, there's this scene in Marriage Story where they're passing out Starbucks coffee cups, and it's just clearly light as a feather, and it's just oh my gosh, you couldn't have just put, I don't know, even rocks in there, anything. We also, at the beginning of the scene, is one of my favorite moments. You see Maru Motsui eyeing his cake, and he also he says to her, he says hello, and he's like, now I can arrest you if you steal my cake. Oh, it's great.
It's cute.
Anyway,
yeah,
it's a cute exchange all around. But he actually seems pretty frustrated and put out by the fact that, he's not going to get a name or an arrest out of this. Mm-hmm. But when she reveals that they don't want any money, that this woman does not want money, she just wants the car gone, it eases his mind a little bit. He's like, oh, okay. I mean, he seems, this is me interpreting, but he seems much more willing to
100%. Yeah, you're right on with that.
Mm-hmm.
We go back to Mama Kutsi.
Yes.
And BK, and they have gotten stopped at a school crossing.
Mm-hmm.
And then BK says, "Oh, that's my teacher. Oh no." And Mama Kutsi...
Not only that, he says she's still alive. Which is...
She looks like 40.
Yeah. Like, what?
Yeah.
But, like, you haven't had that where, like, you think about, like, some of, like, the old teachers that you had, like, growing up, and you're like, wait, they still teaching? How?
Well, listen, I was homeschooled, so yes.
Oh, my God. Oh, boy.
Sorry, Tristan's mom.
But over the course of their exchange, they both kind of panic, and the teacher goes, "Is this your wife?" And Mama Kutsi says, "No, not yet. We're late for our wedding," which is brilliant. Oh, so funny. Such a good.
She wants to get out of there as fast as possible, and that is the best thing she can come up with. And then,
such a good yes and.
Yeah. He's so frustrated because he's like, no, now she's going to tell everybody that I'm getting married. And she's like, okay, whatever.
It's like, this wouldn't happen with my uncle. She's like, yeah, because you wouldn't have said that you're going to marry your uncle.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Ugh.
So they do catch up. They find where the car has gone.
Mm-hmm.
And... Oh goodness! So they're taking pictures the entire time, and they're taking pictures of the wife and this rich guy in a window, getting it on. I mean, they're not yet, but they're clearly about to.
Yeah.
They're closed.
Yeah.
Oh, they do.
They close the curtains, and like that is enough. It's about the implication,
right? Because we get an embrace, we get a smooch, and then we get a curtain close, and that's all we really need, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all I need. You can find me at It's Tyler Riley on Twitter or Instagram if you're looking for a date.
In this time of social distancing, please just send a photo of you shutting your curtain.
Yeah, I mean... I'm down for some virtual dates. You can be in the UK, Australia, wherever.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Perfect.
I can love you from afar.
the perfect relationship, really. I love that we have turned our podcast into a dating scenario for Tyler.
Hey, yeah. I gotta take it where I can get
it. Yeah.
But we do see it cuts back to them after the curtain closed and to show some passage of time, and then we see the door opens and it's two of the maids that work in the house, and they're going to have their break in the garage, where they have like a pretty nice setup in the garage, like a couple of chairs. They have a little table for themselves for their tea and whatnot.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
Mama Kutsi goes up to them and starts telling them the story. Yeah, go ahead.
She asks, like, my car was scratched by a woman and I followed her car here. Is this where she lives? And they're like, oh no, this is where she comes to lie down. And she must work very hard because she is always in need of a lie down. And she's like, well, whose house is it? And they're like, a man who is also works so hard that he must always lie down.
It's so cute. And they are just, nudging each other and laughing knowingly.
It's very funny.
And they kind of
starts to ask about, like, or they reveal somehow that, like, he has, like, a city wife and a country wife. And then Mama Kutsi asks, like, well, does the town wife know about the country wife? And then, like, the head honcho housekeeper was like, you're asking a lot of questions. Who are you and what happened again? And she's like, oh, well, the lady bumped my car. And the other one's like, bumped it? I thought she scratched it. Which is it?
Yeah.
Like, she's gonna turn us in. She's gonna.
Yeah.
She's gonna
And she falls apart. Mama Kutsi does not. She is completely caught in her lie. She does not know what to do. It is amazing and exactly how I act when I'm caught in a lie.
There are few things as funny as someone not being able to lie well, to me, personally.
She's very bad at it, and they start grabbing her by the arm, and she starts swatting at them.
Yeah.
And makes a run for it. And BK has started the getaway car, and she jumps in, and they're like in the window, still trying to grab at her. And everyone's bad at just everything.
Yes.
Because they cannot apprehend her. They do get away, and BK is absolutely tickled, totally thrilled. The most fun.
Is the scene next where JLB is installing the SavNet to...
No. That comes pretty quickly after. We see Maru Motsui following Nandira, the daughter of Mr. Patel.
Right.
Yeah.
And her van breaks down. Right. And it is very unfortunate. And she must call on JLB, who, at the moment, as Tristan was saying, is installing this sat-nav into Mr. Patel's car.
Yeah, and he's like, how's it going? And he's like, I don't want to talk about it. And he's like, how's it going? He's like, I don't want to talk about it. It's fine. It's going fine. Can I just install this? And he's also like, you have to take this SavNet out of the car when you park it in public. And he's like, my car alarm is very loud. And he's like, yeah, but you just got stolen from like a week, like not even 2 days ago, my guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Maromotse rolls up and is like, can you please help me with my van, please? It's also broken down again. Please help me with my van.
Mr. Patel says that he will drive her home.
Mm-hmm.
And asks about his daughter, and she says, yeah, listen, I mean, I just saw her at school, like, nothing to report, really, and, you know, she says, are you really going to pursue this? Why don't you just put a navigation system on your daughter? Like, this is, you know, and finally, you know, he convinces her to keep at it, but, you know, she's got the night off. She's gonna just chill because she's got her van broken down and she needs a break.
So
basically.
Then we are back at the detective agency with Mamukutsi, who is, like, pretty frazzled and looking for something. I don't remember exactly what it was. Like, she has, like, this typed up piece of paper.
Yeah, she's frazzled because she doesn't know what to do regarding the case. And she's typed up a list of pros and cons.
Oh, yes.
And she's in this hat and sunglasses because she's like, they're after me. People know. Yeah.
She has changed her appearance. So our bright red buns are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's got the hat and the sunglasses, and she's not wearing her regular glasses.
Yeah, it's very funny.
And she says she does not need to see to type.
Yeah.
But
that clunks into a chair.
Yep. And Moromotsue asks her where her glasses are, and she says, I cannot find them.
Yeah. And she's like, can we just talk this over tea? And she's like, I need glasses to make tea. So then it jump cuts to them on the porch, and Moromotsue has made some tea and hands her glasses, which she has easily found.
And this is where we get the only proper GIF of the show.
I was gonna say I was like, oh, this is the GIF set.
Yeah.
Of them sipping tea at the same time. Sorry.
There needs to be more. If I knew how to make those things happen.
Oh, I can do that.
Great.
Let me know what scene you want, Tyler, and I will I will make you a moving picture.
I'll have a list of 50 by the day's end. Just
perfect. Thank you so much.
Right? Yeah.
My infamous gifts.
You don't have anything else to do you, Tristan?
No. I'm just sitting around twiddling my thumbs. Have you ever actually twiddled your thumbs? It's pretty fun.
I have.
Yeah, it's really relaxing. I highly recommend it. But in this scene, she's like, I don't know what to do because it could ruin an entire, 3 people's lives. And Marumotsue points something out using the photos that she's taken. She's like, hey, by the way, this kid has the same nose as the rich man. It's not the butcher's child. So she's like, we should probably just, the adults can handle the adults, but we shouldn't mention that. Because the kid can figure that out when he's older. Yeah. And they're both still pretty conflicted about it, and they haven't reached a decision by the end of the scene.
Yeah, he calls, and I think he calls, or she calls her, she calls him, whichever, and says to come in tomorrow.
Yeah.
He calls them, and because Mama Kutsu, had a little mini freak out, what do I say? And Mama's like, you know what? Tell him to come tomorrow. We don't have the bandwidth for this tonight.
Yeah.
Right, 'cause she's got to do her car heist thing. Should we take an ad break now?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Ready to break some... Oh.
Yeah. You can't break an ad without a couple of omelets.
That's the phrase.
Yep. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the ad break. My name is Tristan Miller, the Saucy Sleep. Dang it. Dang it. Hello. Give us your money. Goodbye. Hi, so we're on the Scavengers Network. You can go to scavengersnetwork.com. Check out all their excellent content. They just got affiliated on the Switch on the Twitch. The Switch and Twitch. The Twitch.tv, where you can go watch people live stream things from video games to Colin making a brisket. If you want to risk it for that brisket, go check that out. You can check out
You don't even have to risk it for that brisket
because
it's online and it's totally safe.
Yes, it is totally safe. To watch someone prepare brisket. Yeah, that's true. That is a safe thing to do. But they have a bunch of great other podcasts, like, I don't know, Radio Insanely Haunted, which is about ghost adventures, historical.
I just got a new historical hotties drop in my feed this week.
Ooh, yeah, they've been a little sporadic since the quarantine, but that's okay. But they're a great show. They're all about who is the sexiest historical figure. And it has very little to do with looks. I mean, just a little bit to do with looks. Yeah.
Big sexy brains is what we're really looking at here.
Yes. And you can check out our Teespring store, which is in the show notes. We got some new merchandise that I made up. And if you buy that, we'll donate it to an organization associated with the Black Lives Matter movement. So you can go buy some Order and Method merch. I got some mugs, and we're going to eventually have to take a photo with all of us drinking coffee out of our mugs.
Yeah. It's going to be a project, getting all the mugs to the appropriate homes.
Yeah,
we'll document the journey.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
It'll be riveting content.
I'm gonna try to train some pigeons, seeing if they can, as a group.
Carrier pigeons.
Oh, dovetailing into the next thing. Someone take it away.
What do we do now? Oh, right, me. So we're on social media in a few places, like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. That's it. At ADC Pod. And we also have a Facebook group. And just do your best with the questions, and someone will let you in. Someone this week answered the questions. It was amazing. And I let them in because they seemed fine. You know what I mean? Like a person that's not gonna, I don't know.
Cause a ruckus,
exactly. and rate, review, subscribe. Rate us 5 stars. It helps us. It helps people find the podcast. Thanks for doing that.
Don't you hate all this reverse ageism that you see during this pandemic? Senior citizens getting early access to grocery stores, early access for early bird dinner specials. Why should they have all the fun? For $3 a month, you can get early access, no matter what your age, to the ADC podcast when you subscribe to the ADC Patreon.
Ugh.
I was wondering where that was going to go.
I
love
idea.
it. I know we can't take vacations right now, but we just went on a bit of a journey.
Yeah. What else do the fine people get, Mr. Riley?
Yes, at that $3 level, you can also receive bonus episodes and content. And for those of you listening who have yet to subscribe at $1 per month, you can get bonus episodes and content. And really, it's $1. If your friend was like, "Hey, can you spot me $1?" You do it. Are we not your friends? Have we not grown close over these many, many episodes? Let us borrow some money, guys.
Borrow, by which we mean
you'll never.
We're not,
a friend borrow. You're not gonna see that money back.
Not $1.
Yeah.
Dollar's not coming back to you.
Like, if you're taking a loan from a friend, that's a whole situation. But if you borrow $1, I'm not expecting that $1 back.
No.
Hi, I'm Tristan Miller, the Saucy Sleuth.
We're just going to introduce ourselves at every... If music drops, we got to reintroduce.
Yeah.
So it's the night of the big heist. We still in that car back. JLB rolls up to the detective agency as Marumotsue and Mamokutsu are discussing what to do about the guy, butcher, the businessman, and the cheating spouse.
Candlestick maker.
Yeah, thank you. Had to be done. Yes, and he has fixed Marumotsue's car. He's basically dropped this whole weird fake personality, and he's going back to his true self. But Marumotsue is very pleased that he has fixed the car.
He's being really weird at the top of this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay,
this is when he sneaks in those subtle digs, because she hears about him going to the Go-Go Handsome Men's bar.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, since I didn't have a favor for you to do, I was able to go out and have a good time.
Yeah, and
I'm just kind of dude, what's up?
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I forgot that does happen at the beginning of this.
She takes it in stride and says something flippant back to him and laughs. I think she was hoping to kind of ease the tension, and then he just gets in, pulls up, and then his personality does kind of a 180, where he's like, you know what, I don't think you should be the one to steal the car. I should handle this. And she's like, it's my job, so I'm gonna
cry
do
if
it.
I want to.
And she doesn't want to.
No.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So she sneaks in through the fence. She has brought meat with her, clever gal, to distract the dog.
Yes.
Tossing the meat, puts this note under a rock in the driveway.
Mm-hmm. Tossing that raw meat.
And then as she's going to get into the car, the dog starts barking again. Presumably for more food, I assume.
Yeah.
And she tries to throw the meat again, and then the dog is still barking. She's like, oh crap. So the husband jumps up from the couch and starts to turn around, and the wife luckily comes in and starts distracting him, and then starts blasting music and tries to get him to dance, so he doesn't look anywhere towards the window. And
Yeah.
she's able to get in the car, start it without being heard because the wife is blasting this music in their house and drives off.
And it works until, fortunately, they get away pretty easily. And then he realizes the car is gone. He runs out, and they find the piece of paper which is the article in the paper about what happened to what happened with the carjacking,
Mm-hmm.
and about the child that was in the car and everything.
Yeah.
And once he reads that, he seems to soften a little bit.
Yeah, it was kind of like I wish this didn't catch up with me, but like this was such an effed up situation. Like I can't really be too mad about this car being stolen back.
Yeah, that's the vibe we get in the very rich subtext of the scene.
Yeah. And this sequence is intercut with the butcher rolling up to the detective agency and sort of accosting Mamakutsi and going, I need to know what you know now.
Yeah, I can't wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, and she's like, Maru Mosue isn't here right now, so I guess, sorry. And so after the sequence where they steal the car and they presumably bring it across the border and all that, they go to Maru Mosue's house, and this is the sequence where she is starting her van back up, and she's like, thank you so much, and JLB is like, so there's something I wanted to tell you, and
That's
it's
right.
really important, and she keeps just revving the engine over him talking because she's so delighted. It's a very, very cute sequence. And then she's like, oh, I'm sorry, you were going to say something. And then the butcher and Mamakutsi, they roll up, and he's like, you got to tell me right now what's going on with my life. And so they sit down and have a bit of a chat. And basically, Maru Motsue is like, well, your wife is having an affair, but she's doing it so your child can receive a good education. And she's doing it for your son.
Yeah, basically saying that the whole reason that's the whole reason.
Yeah.
That she's doing this. It has nothing. He's paying his way through school. That's why this is all occurring. But,
Yeah.
So he has this little fantasy go on in his head about a time when they can all be together again.
Yeah,
as just a... Mm-hmm.
It's like this really well-written and well-directed scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have Maru Matsue there, like, interpreting the facts, as she says later on in the episode.
Yes.
And you have him begin to just jump in, filling in blanks for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's just trying so desperately to try to make some sense and find some peace with the information that he's been given. And it's so well done, I thought.
Yeah. I agree 100%. And like the actor's like rolling some Emmy juice. He's crying. He's like he's really in it. And it's a really sad and sweet scene. And he's like, well, we could be back together again. And she's like, that could happen, which is very gentle. And he's like, okay. And then he just, he goes home.
He's satisfied.
Yeah. And then afterwards, they have this conversation, which is the titular conversation about like, well, was that the right thing to do? Is it not?
Right. I thought we don't lie to clients.
And she's like, I didn't lie. I was interpreting the facts, which isn't a word, but one I just made up. Interpreting the facts.
Yeah.
And so I think it's fine, basically. And they both rationalize it between the two of them. And then JLB is like, I'll drive you home, Mamakutsi. And we get this moment where Maru Motsue is like, you're going to say something to me, right? And he's like, it's nothing. And she's like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. And she's like, okay, another time, maybe. And he's like, maybe. And then...
Yeah.
Because she does say something along the lines of, you can't snatch away hope from a man who I'm not saying it correctly, but like that leads because you get like this cut of JLB's face and him realizing, you know what, I can't let myself get let down again. So no,
this is not the night where my hope is going to die.
Yeah. And
which is really sad and sweet.
Yeah. And
I feel that.
And that's the end of the episode, right?
Yeah, it is. I watched on Daily Motion, unfortunately.
Oh.
Because I'm away from my proper television. I'm away. And being safe and away.
Yes.
Everyone who I am with has been tested prior to this trip. So it led right into scenes from next week, so I got confused. Because it gave the preview without being like, and next on. Yeah. It just jumped straight to it, the way that the person uploaded this episode.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's confusing. Yes, but this is the episode. What did we all think of it?
I think this was a really good episode. It had a lot of really fun moments. Once again, I literally did clap for it at one point because I got so excited. I was like a 2-year-old with a piece of cake. I think we get some really strong character beats, specifically with JLB. And the Desmond Dubois as BK shines in this episode. Absolutely fantastic.
So funny.
And I think you get a lot of great character moments with Mauro Motsue as well, with her dealings with Mr. Patel. And also, like, this episode is not only really fun and funny, but it also pushes all of the characters to their limit within the context of the story so far. With, dealing with children with Mauro Motsue, dealing with a new case with Mamakutsi. BK is just kind of there. But with JLB as well, dealing with his feelings for Precious. And, I think it's a perfectly balanced film episode as well. I give this one a 5 out of 5. This is my favorite one so far.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this one a 4. I loved it. I thought it was great. It has not been my favorite. I think Poison is still my favorite at the moment. Just, a personal preference thing. Really fun to watch. A little bit more subtle. A couple things you need to pay a little bit more attention to. Like, we didn't actually get a resolution for Mr. Patel's daughter yet, but I don't know if that's going to come later. But doesn't necessarily need to. But it wasn't neat and tidy. Still don't know what's going on with those darn kids that are doing the break-ins. And that's okay too. But it was a ton of fun. The BK and Mamakutsi stuff was just gold. Anika Noni Rose is perfection. And the whole carjack was very tense at the beginning. And that was a really nice payoff when we finally got to know what happened to the kid.
Yeah, and I would also say, like, them having it was a really strong cold open, and so I remembered it this time. There have been other cold opens where I'm just like, and like I said, I think last week, it was like, and we started the credits, which is not the case. There's always a cold open.
Right, yeah.
I think I'm in the middle of the two of you today. I gave it a 4.5. And only because it's not my favorite, and I'm in a position where I have seen this series before several times because I love it. So I know unfairly, I know what the show is capable of.
Sure.
But this episode, it was a bit heavy, and heavier even, I would say, than the last episode.
Yeah.
Because there was just a lot more heartbreak, you have this carjacking where, for a great extended bit of the episode, you don't know what becomes of the child. who was taken in that car. Then you
Yeah.
have this man who is just desperate to find out whether or not his life is in shambles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like, what does that do to a person when it seems like everything is going right and you can't quite figure out why?
Yeah.
Because things are adding up in ways that they shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that this was so well performed and well directed.
Yeah, and I would say another strong suit of the episode is the conversation they had at the end of it around what the morals are. And it feels very like Murder on the Orient Express. It feels very like, okay, now you have to, in the name of justice and not law, or like not you, when you have to like compromise some of your morals for the greater good, is always very very compelling to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and is that the problem with moral philosophy?
Maybe I think maybe it is.
Quite possibly. Tyler.
What a good question. And now your homework assignment, everyone, is to go and write a five-page essay, double-spaced. No.
Either that or write a 5-star review. Your choice.
Yeah.
You have to do one.
You do get bonus bonus credit for the review. So know that.
But only if it's 5 stars.
Exactly. So next week on the program, we're going to be talking about Beauty and Integrity, the 9th, 8th, 6th, 7th episode?
Oh, okay. I was like, where are you going with these numbers?
6th episode.
It's the 6th episode. We have 2 episodes left in this series.
Ugh. So
whoa.
You hate to hear it.
Yeah, you hate to hear it, folks. The summary on IMDb of Beauty and Integrity is: a new detective agency opens up near the ladies. Grace.
What?
Yeah, they got competition, baby.
Nah.
Grace investigates a beauty contest while Precious is trying to find Neandra Patel's mystery boyfriend.
There we go.
Bum, bum,
I am pumped for this one.
Yeah. I always love
this sounds great.
I always love a local business rivalry. Always very charming.
I'm going to make a prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you know what happens.
I'm going to make a prediction, and that this episode will also be rated 5 by Tristan.
Ooh, we'll see. I might just give it a
Out
1
of
to be
spite?
contrarian.
I'm
now I'm
holding
excited.
I'm very excited about this one. Yeah. Okay.
And with that, I call this meeting of the Amateur Detective Club to a close.
Gavel sound.
Some sound effect from the episode.
Vroom vroom.
Vroom vroom. Meow. Meep, meep.